Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate you able to jump on the webinar. I'm Joe Paul. As I mentioned, I'm the finance manager here for Zahn. Just wanted to go over a couple options here that make sense for you and how we can help with our products and services across the board to meet all of your financial needs. Here at HSFS, we have different types of finance options, which all have different benefits and trade-offs to them. Finding the right one can be difficult at times. The lender partners that we work with are strictly healthcare lenders who work specifically along with myself in the dental and dental lab field. So with our experience and relationships here, we're able to serve as your advisor and consultant to help find the best fit for all of your financial needs. Today, we'll be reviewing different financial options, everything from your equipment and technology purchases and financing, financing versus leasing, hard and soft cost financing, our financing partners versus a local bank financing offer, financing versus cash, and some tax considerations through your benefits for 2021. So we'll go ahead and review these in further detail now. First and foremost is our equipment and technology finance product. This allows you to easily afford the equipment and technology that your lab needs. Through our lender partners, we are able to offer 100% financing with affordable payments with options up to 1 through 7 years, allowing up to 6 months of deferred payments, which allows you to take advantage of the equipment being purchased now, but have no payment out of pocket for 6 months thereafter. We also have a structure called the Route 66. This is designed to specifically help with cash flow during year 1. With this program, it gives you 6 months with no payments to start, then 6 months at $99, and starting year 2, your full payment would kick in. With this structure, you're only having $594 out of pocket during year 1. So it allows the equipment to be generating revenue to pay for itself by the time the first payment is due. All of our processes and approvals are quick and easy. We'll go through a little bit more what detail would be needed to move forward from there. And we only have a minimum dollar amount to be financed of $5,000 with no cap being needed there. A lot of questions pop up about financing versus leasing. So this really comes down to personal preferences and what you would prefer to have in your lab. Leasing is a great option. Financing, I would say, is probably the majority of what we're offering here. The benefits of financing is that you would own the equipment from day 1. The equipment is in your name, so you have right to that. The financing would be done through the bank partner, over the term of the loan. So you'll still be repaying them, and at the end of the term, the loan is just canceled out. You do get some more flexibility with tax deductions with financing. You'll be able to deduct through Section 179, which we will elaborate on in a few minutes here. With leasing, the tax deductions are a little bit different. You're able to write off the monthly payment as an operating expense versus with a finance agreement, you're able to accelerate that depreciation and write it all off upfront. The nice big benefit about leasing is that you are able to stay current on the latest technology and equipment for your lab. So things like scanners, mills, other digital workflow items that may become upgraded or obsolete after so many years, you're able to kind of stay up to date with the latest and greatest there. So after your end of term lease is up, you have the option to either buy it out or return it to the bank partner and then upgrade to the newer technology available. So it kind of keeps you up to date with everything there. The payments would continue on, which is the only downside about leasing there. But we have the flexibility to offer both of these products. So our lender partners can meet whatever need you have there and whatever preferences you should have. Hardware soft costs is something we want to talk about because we're not here just to finance equipment and technology for you. Above and beyond 100% financing for those categories, you're able to take 20% in soft costs, which would be your supplies and everyday consumables. We are sometimes also able to offer things like renovations, if you wanted to build an alcove for your mill or something along those lines and have to work with a contractor for that. We could also wrap those in, obviously all subject to credit approval. But if you are purchasing some equipment and wanted to pre-order supplies for the next few months to go along with that equipment, we can bundle everything into one loan for you. All the terms are fixed up to a 7-year window. All the rates are fixed as well, so you don't have to worry about any variables or anything there. They're all very low competitive interest rates in comparison to the market here. And then we're able to customize flexible repayment programs such as the Route 66 I mentioned earlier, or other graduated payment plans, which would offer deferred payments as well as structured payments ramping up during the first year. Our goal is to make sure that your cash flow is positive and comfortable so that you can get the technology you want in the lab without the stress of a large monthly payment coming due right away. When comparing our lender products to local bank financing, there are a ton of benefits here. With our lenders, as I mentioned earlier, they are healthcare specific lenders. I myself have only done dental financing for the last 25 years, so their products are directly designed and put together for your footprint. With that said, we put a quick analysis together with a side-by-side comparison of how our products compare to local banks. We're not always going to be the lowest interest rate that's available. We'll easily do a side-by-side comparison for you if you have any other offers on the table, breaking down the pros and cons of each one, but this gives a general summary here. First and foremost is the fact that our bank partners do not report this debt to your credit bureau. Now, we do have to run your credit for approval purposes, so a one-time inquiry will show that your credit report was pulled. However, that's the only thing that's going to report there. You don't have to worry about 6 months from now or a year from now if you wanted to buy a new car or a new home or even just miscellaneous expenses on the personal side, that this business loan would be affecting your personal credit scores and personal debt service like you do with a local bank. That's probably one of the biggest eye-catching points for all of our customers here, because it really is able to keep everything separate from the business and personal. The second one is deferred payment options. As I mentioned earlier, we do offer 100% financing, and you have the ability to do up to 6 months of no payments to start. This essentially will cover all your cash flow for you, so that is basically paying for itself by the time the first payment is due. All of our rates are fixed. Banks are oftentimes offering variable rates again, just due to the kind of rate environment we've been in for the last several years. So knowing that you have a fixed amount that's due month after month is crucial for you to be able to manage and maintain your cash flow internally at the lab. Banks typically want some type of money down, and they don't often offer deferred payment options. So at the end of the day, a bank isn't really familiar with a dental lab compared to a restaurant or a boutique. To them, it's just all small businesses where our lenders are specifically familiar with your business there. No upfront payments. We do have deposits typically get waived on any equipment that's being financed with us. Banks not only would require some type of money down, but they usually have high fees that come along with it as well. The only fee our bank partners charge is a one-time documentation fee, which is just $150. So you don't have any large closing costs or anything there that you have to pay upfront. When it comes to the collateral for the loan and the liens placed, there are no liens against personal assets. So you're not having to worry to put your home or even the lab up as collateral for anything on the loan. If we're doing a one-off equipment loan, the only lien filed would be done on the equipment itself in particular. If you are wrapping in like some renovation expenses or supplies that there is no collateral to go along with, they sometimes will file a first position lien on your lab itself, just for the additional peace of mind for the bank to cover those unsecured assets. Hard and soft costs we broke down as well. We're going to cover everything for you. So it's equipment, supplies, renovations, basically anything and everything you could use for the lab, the benches and supplies. The approvals are quick and easy. We'll have you approved usually within 1 to 2 hours or so. It's a quick and easy application we can do over the phone, or we can provide to you in writing and you can complete and send back in, but it's probably the easiest loan you'll ever do. Overall, the approval takes about an hour or two. All the documentation is electronic signatures, so you don't have to worry about supplying financials or jumping through the hoops of filling out documents and scanning and sending back. So we're here to make sure that we take care of all the business side while you can focus on the lab. Financing versus cash, this is a kind of a conflict that comes up with everyone's mind there. So cash is key. At the end of the day, you're going to help maintain an easy cash flow level at the lab by having a set structured monthly payment set up for you to easily afford versus having to deplete your cash flow internally and having to pay off this asset in one lump sum. All the interest rates right now being as low as they are make this as affordable as ever. So having that structured over the term of the life of the loan that you'd prefer is something that is much easier to manage than depleting the cash outright. All the payments are regular. There's no variables or anything there. You do get tax benefits either way if you were to pay cash or finance. So being able to preserve your cash while getting the same tax benefits there is definitely really nice. The deposits do typically get waived whenever you're financing with us. So we want to have as much cash back in your pocket as possible. At the end of the day, you want to preserve that cash flow for any unexpected expenses and emergency capital that should come up. And by financing or leasing, that allows you to do just that. Tax considerations. Most of you may be familiar with the Section 179 tax deduction that's issued by the IRS. There's definitely tax benefits that could be available to you between the different financing and leasing options we offer. With Section 179, that would qualify for a true finance agreement or a $1 buyout fixed lease, where you are agreeing to purchase the equipment upfront. This allows you to accelerate that deduction upfront and get the total write-off versus having to depreciate that over the life of the loan. If you were to do a lease agreement, you do still qualify for, you could still qualify for some tax benefits there. It's not the accelerated option that you have access to. Leases are written off more on a monthly operating expense versus a lump sum accelerated write-off upfront. We do recommend that you speak with your financial advisors and or your accountants for any additional tax advice, but we are here to help with anything as well. Excuse me. Surrounding yourself with trusted experts. As I mentioned earlier, this is all I've done myself for the last 25 years. Our team here has many years even above and beyond that. All of our lenders are specifically put in place to know your business inside and out. So between our laboratory equipment and technology team and your laboratory reps for your supplies and merchandise, along with our preferred network of lenders, we're able to offer you a bundle solution to cover all of your needs there. In addition to that, you're obviously working through third-party accountants, attorneys, and legal teams, contractors, and architects. So we're here to be on that same level with them, giving you the best advice and direction so that we can make sure you're successful long-term. We've built a proud reputation of being a valued partner for all of our dental labs, and we're here for the long run. So that covers the majority of what I would like to review today. I would like to turn it over to open up any questions that may come in as well. This is my contact information. The 800 number does come directly into my office, as well as the email. So feel free to contact me directly there as well.
Thank you so much, Joe. We do have quite a few questions that came in. The first one is, there is a lot of news around rates increasing. Do you have any insight on that?
We do, yes. Great question. Rates are beginning to climb up again. They have been at an all-time low for the last year and a half or so. So we have noticed that our rates are coming up on a quarterly basis. We typically work with our lender partners to monitor all those here, and they are starting to climb up. So I do feel that starting Q1 of 2022, we'll see a little bit of a spike there. I think now, between the tax benefits and the rates being as low as they are, is the time to move forward with any acquisitions.
Okay, and the next is there a benefit to deferred versus straight payments?
Another great question, definitely. So it all comes down to personal preferences. When you're deferring payments, interest is accruing. So there's a slight disadvantage there. However, the interest that accrues is minimal compared to what you'll be able to reap back in rewards from having that equipment generate revenue during that deferral period. Especially this time of year where you can take delivery of equipment and get all your tax write-offs for 2021, but not have any out-of-pocket expenses until 2022, it is huge. Because you'll be able to get all that information and deductions from the IRS that you typically would not be able to if you put it off till next year while having the equipment generating revenue at the same time.
Okay, and the next is, this attendee wants to start up a new lab and wants to know if we can help secure financing for that.
Definitely, another great question. So startup lab financing is a little bit tougher to secure just because the lenders like to see an established business and kind of an overall business credit profile. However, we do have a couple lenders that will offer financing here. They do typically just want to finance equipment for those requests and up to $50,000. So that normally covers the primary needs of the lab startup. And once they're established over a year or two, we can get additional funding in place, as well as them establishing a payment history with that lender partner. So there's really no cap as far as our ability to offer financing across the board with established dental labs. Preferred is at least 2 years in business, but 1 year in business or more can be approved. And then anything less than that would be approvable, just at a lower dollar amount.
Okay, and the next question is, when you say 20% of soft costs, is that 20% of my gross sales or 20% of loan amount?
That would be 20% of the equipment purchase amount. So if you were, say, buying $100,000 in new equipment here, you could add up to $20,000 above and beyond that for miscellaneous supplies and consumables, along with contractor bills and renovation expenses.
Okay. The next is, what is the best practice for a general dentist running a dental lab? Should the lab be licensed as a separate business?
I would probably defer them to their accountant or attorney, but in my experience, what I've seen is that they will typically set up a separate entity for this, more of like a P&L, so that they can track the income and expenses directly related to the lab compared to the dental practice. So it's best just to keep those independent of each other. Again, check with your accountant and attorney there, but I would recommend personally to split those off. Have a separate LLC or corporation entity for the lab versus the dental practice in and of itself.